Hello my boys, good morning. In this beautiful day we're gonna talk about the league start progression for my Totem Master build in patch 0.3. First you need to understand that GGG did a lot of changes in patch 0.3 to this build, and the league start progression is also harder to explain because they have not revealed the new skill tree. So the skill tree that you see here at the moment, it's different in patch 0.3, and for some reason GGG has not revealed it. Soon, in 2 days, we will have the league and we don't have access to the new skill tree. Also, we don't have access to all the new support gems. It's important for leveling in the campaign, and for some reason this is crucial information that GGG has not offered to the players. So this will be hard for me to explain. I will try to explain in theory what you need to allocate, and later I will put it on Discord. So here will be a dedicated channel for the Totem Master build on league start, and I will put here some screenshots once they reveal it. If they reveal it before launch, I don't know what to say. People are asking me for the progression, and here I will put it in the video. In case you missed it, this is a very strong build. I mean, it's tanky, it's lazy, it's cheap, ideal for casual players and new Path of Exile players. Great build. I mean, in patch 0.2 everyone loved it, that good, but it's still viable in 0.3. I explained here the changes. Even there is a written guide. The written guide is no longer viable. I need to do a lot of edits with all the changes. Even the skill tree progression here, it's no longer viable because we have a new skill tree. Yeah, even for the items there will be some tweaks. We moved from Ancestral Warrior back to Shockwave Totem because now Ancestral Warrior here requires endurance charges to summon. So my boys, pay close attention because this is the skill tree progression that you will need to do on league start. They did a lot of changes here, but we don't have access to them, so it's speculated that they even moved these totem clusters here in this location. They did a lot of changes, man. It's annoying that we don't have access to the skill tree, but it is what it is. In Act 1, you want to focus on some melee damage here, and then you want to rush as fast as possible for extra totems. So you have one extra totem here, and you have one extra totem here. Now it's speculated that this cluster will be in this location. No problem. Remember, you will get 2 extra totems from the skill tree. That will be a total of 3 totems that you can summon. In Act 2 also we're gonna do the first lab, yeah, Trial of Sekema. This node was also reworked. Now it will give you one extra totem. So in case you don't know, for this build, when you summon a totem, you also summon some special minions that will boost your damage and defenses. These minions are great. So we will have 4 totems in Act 2, which is incredible. So remember, in Act 1 you focus on some melee damage here, then you want to rush straight away from the totem nodes here. Yeah, 1 totem here, 1 totem here. For the cluster, when you take the totem nodes, you don't want totem life, you go for totem damage nodes, like this. Yeah, remember this. After you take the totem nodes and you have 3 totems from the skill tree, you want to rush directly for blood magic. So the skills don't cost mana. We don't need to worry about mana. Mana sucks, you know. You want to summon your totems and have a good time. So this build will have a lot of life and a lot of life regeneration. This is the idea. We don't want to worry about mana. Also, in Act 3, when you get more spirit, you want to support here vitality. This will generate 1% of your maximum life. We're gonna talk about the skill gems in a second. Let's first discuss about the skill tree. After you take blood magic, this is for the campaign, I need to repeat because there will be tweaks to this skill tree as I play also. There's been so many changes to this build that I need to play, but this is to get you going on league start. You also want to take Resolute Technique, so our hits don't miss. After this, you will focus on all the other totem nodes that boost the damage or utility. For example, here you will place the totems farther away, you place the totems faster. Here you have some totem damage, great. Here will help you with attack speed for the totems, also increase your damage, yeah? And you look for nodes that, totem nodes. We're gonna focus on totem nodes that boost damage, remember, not life, damage. Like this, for example, we go, totem damage, we take them. So my boys, after you take all the totem damage related nodes, wherever they will be in the new skill tree, you want to focus on some life regeneration, and then you go into general damage that will also boost the totems. For example, we have attack speed, physical damage, melee damage. There are some nodes. Again, it's hard for me to predict where they will be because they did changes to this skill tree, sadly, and I don't have access to them. But to make things easy, I will do my best to rush the campaign, and I will make daily summaries each day, daily summary with my progress that you can copy. On top of this, you will have on the Guild Discord server here. So in this channel, I will post screenshot of my progression. So I will need to tweak as I go the skill tree, sadly, because have been a lot of changes. And the new build guide for this setup will be released after 1 week, most likely. I will need to test, I need to do my test, you know. to be good with all the changes. So the build guide that you currently see here, even the written guide, is no longer viable. So this was viable for patch 0.2. In patch 0.3 there will be a new build guide. Very important. There have been tons of changes to the build. The build is still viable, but yeah, too many changes, we need a new build guide. So my boys, in case you're new to the build, let me explain also the Ascendancy node order that you will need to allocate. On the first lab, you want to do it in Act 2. You do Trial of Sekema in Act 2 around level 24-25. Remember, it's important. Here, on this one, will be the biggest node from the lab that will help you in the campaign. This will give you 1 extra totem, so we can summon 4 totems. 1 by default, 2 from the skill tree, and then 1 more from the Ascendancy. That's 4 totems. That's a lot. Later in the late maps, we could put Idol of Doom, we'll have 5 totems. Not only that we get 5 totems, this is 5 totems with 5 ancestral spirits. And this gets crazy because we can support things on the ancestral spirits, you know, like Calling Strike, Blind, put things with utility. So these spirits act like mid shields, they will absorb damage, they will also apply offensive buffs to us, like 20% skill speed, that's a lot. We'll give us defensive buffs and we can also put support gems. This is too strong. Yeah, then on the second lab you want to take Wooden Wall. This will make the totems that will absorb damage that you take. 20% of the damage from hits that you take will be redirected to a totem. Big defensive boost, why not? We're gonna take it. This will be on the second lab. On the third lab you want to take Renly's Training. This will help you to cap your blockchains very easy, very fast with little investment. And this node will be on the last lab, Turtle Charm. You will take it in maps most likely, towards late maps, you know. This is powerful even in the next league. I explained what they did. Pretty much we don't have the penalty anymore, 25% less blockchains, which means that we will have actually more skill points in the version from 0.3, because we're investing heavily into blockchains. Now without this penalty it will be easy to reach the blockchains cap, which by the way for the Warbringer in the next patch will be 75%. So they reworked how block works. I explained this, but Warbringer will have 75% blockchains, other classes will have 50% blockchain. Still very good build. A very good build, very tanky. We have a downside that's not that important. You take 30% of the block hits, but the new version will have a lot of life regeneration. So in the next version, I'm planning to tweak the skill tree for a lot of life recoup, life regeneration, so it's lazy and easy to play for casuals and new Path of Exile 2 players. This is my aim. I want to make a friendly build for noobs, you know? They tend to die a lot, then tend to be poor, no problem. I will make a build that it's cheap and tanky. This is my ideal setup for this build. Yeah, so when I'm making this build, I think of casuals. This is the idea. Now, my boys, you need to understand, once you get your totem set up, it's easy in the campaign. Very easy, very nice. But Act 1 will be problematic because you don't have a lot of skills. You need to know how to play it right. So I will try to explain it now. So after you defeated this boss and you enter the town for the first time, you will be level 2. You talk with this guy and will give you a skill gem. Yeah? You already have Rolling Slam. And this will be the second skill gem. You want to take Bone Shatter. So you'll use Rolling Slam and Bone Shatter. Let's put it here. My boys, and this is how you will play it. You will use Rolling Slam and they will get highlighted. Once they get highlighted, you want to put Bone Shatter and they will explode. Check here. And this will give you a good clear. So you use Rolling Slam to jump on them. If someone gets highlighted, you use Bone Shatter. This will give you a big area of effect clear. You need to understand how to play it. So again, you use Rolling Slam, they get highlighted with that thing, you put Bone Shatter and they will die. Yeah, and you will do this until you reach level 6 when we're gonna use Shockwave Totem for the first time. So now with Shockwave Totem things change a little, the gameplay will be slightly different. You want to summon the totem and until enemies get highlighted with that color. Then you use Bone Shatter on highlighted enemies. You see, we have that sun on them. So you put the Shockwave Totem, they get highlighted, then you use Bone Shatter for the clear. This will be for Act 1, look. They get highlighted, you use Bone Shatter, and this will give you a good clear. Yeah, that's how you'll do it. So again, you summon the Shockwave Totem. You see enemy getting highlighted, you use Bone Shatter. This will give you a big area of effect clear. Like this, you see? This is how you need to play it. Now let's talk about the support gems, which are equally important. So my boys, pay attention. In Act 1, for single target damage, we're gonna use Mace Strike, supported with Rage and Martial Tempo. When we use Mace Strike, it will attack with the normal weapon and will generate rage. The rage that we generate will boost our damage not only for the normal auto attacks, but also for the totems. And on the Shockwave totem, you want to put Lacerate so they will apply bleeding, and you want to put something that will increase your physical damage. At the moment in patch 0.2, we have access to Brutality at tier 1. Now they rework the support gems, but I don't have access to them to actually take a look at what we can use. So because of that, for the moment at this day, we're gonna use Lacerate and Brutality for Act 1. I might change this and I will explain the changes on Discord. I will put there if something changes. Again, they have not published the support tiers that they reworked. So on the first gem you want to put Lacerate. This will help with certain early bosses that are very painful to attack from close distance. Warrior has a horrible time in Act 1 because he needs to face tank some of the deadliest bosses early on and you don't have much. That's why this will help you a lot. And I will demonstrate too. And when you do the Spirit Gem, you want the Spirit Quest, you want to take Herald of Ash. It will help you with the Monster Pack clears, you know, Area of Effect. It will help you with the clears. Again, I will repeat. To an auto attack, you put Rage, Martial Tempo, you put Shockwave Totem here, Lacerate, Brutality, and you take for the Spirit Gem, Herald of Ash. Things might change. If things change, I will explain. But again, I have nothing to work with because GGG has not published the support gems, sadly. It is what it is. So when you fight a bot, you want to put your Shockwave Totem near the boss and you do auto attacks with Mace Strike. This will also give you Rage that will boost the damage. That's pretty much for Act 1. We're gonna use Mace Strike. We whoop the enemy, you know, normal attacks will give you Rage. This will be for single target. You see, I'm doing quite a lot of damage and my item, my weapon is shit, by the way. Here it's another example. You push Shockwave Totem and you do normal attacks. Like this. This will generate Rage too. Boost the damage also of the totem. You do normal attacks, you'll be fine. Also, the totem will apply bleeding, which is useful, especially for the next boss after this area. Okay, let's move on. So it applies bleeding, it will help you kill them. It's for Act 1. So the bleeding part is just for Act 1. Here it's where the Shockwave Totem with bleeding will shine. So this boss is very deadly if you go too close. So you put your Shockwave Totem, it will apply bleeding, and as the boss moves around, he will take bleeding damage. I mean, this boss, it's a pain for all the warriors. I mean, if you're playing a Deadeye, you shoot with Lightning Arrow from distance, it's easier. But here you need to go at close range and you do auto attacks. I mean, it's too deadly, this boss. So that's how you will kill it. You put the Shockwave Totems from the distance and they will do the damage for you. Check how I'm playing. We have Lacerate, will apply bleeding damage. Keep summoning Shockwave Totems and you run. This boss is annoying as fuck for warriors, in case you don't know. You don't want to get too close to him. And eventually he will die. So again, Shockwave Totem with Lacerate support, so it will apply bleeding. Here it's King of the Mist. Again, you spawn your Shockwave Totem and you do auto attacks. Check my rage. I'm generating rage here to the top left. So auto attacks with Shockwave Totems. This is how you will deal with single target in Act 1. Later in Act 2, as we get totems, we will no longer use Mace Strike like this. I mean, we will use it to generate rage, but it will not be our main source of damage. The totems will do the damage. But Act 1 is different, you know. You need to do a lot of auto attacks because warrior sucks in Act 1. This is the reality. And here for the Act boss again, you summon your Shockwave Totem and you do auto attacks. Make sure to have some cold resistance, especially the Sapphire Charm from the quest. You know, I have here a Sapphire Charm, will give you some extra cold resistance. It's important. Also make sure that you don't skip all the side quests. Some side quests gives you skill point, gives you extra life. You need to do all of them. So for this boss, this is the rotation. You put the totem and you do auto attacks. I know it sucks, but it is what it is. Warrior has a harder time compared to a Deadeye, for example. Yeah. So I'm doing auto attacks. This will generate rage. Will also boost the damage of Shockwave Totem. Again, Shockwave Totem, auto attacks. This will be for the boss. Remember, you can also play in a public party to help you with Act 1. On Leakstar, there will be tons of public parties that you can join. It's up to you. But you can do it solo, as you can see, if you play like this. Around level 25, you want to do the first lab trial of Sekema. You will do it around level 25 in Act 2. This is big. It will give you one extra totem. Will give you minions once you summon a totem. Then this is a great Ascendancy. So make sure that you do it in Act 2 around level 25. Yeah, again, you put totem and you put Mace Strike. You know, this is the warrior playstyle in early acts, sadly. Yeah, and then you want to ascend to Warbringer. So we're gonna take the Warbringer. This will be a very powerful node that we'll allocate in the next patch. Yeah, so we will have 4 totems. So now you see 3 totems, but in the next patch you will have 4. So with the skill tree node you'll have 3, with the Ascendancy you'll have 4 totems. 4 totems and 4 minions, yeah, which is great. Another thing that you need to remember is that they rework how we scale damage with Shockwave Totem. So you need to change your weapon all the time. In patch 0.2 we scale damage from gem levels, a lot of damage. Now in the next patch you want maces with a lot of physical damage. So every 5 levels, every 7 levels, make sure that you upgrade your weapon. Especially before act bosses, yeah, you need a good mace with a lot of physical damage, so the shockwave totems will do more damage, pretty much, yeah. And here for the support gems, keep in mind that you can use the same support multiple times. For example, here for the support, you can use brutality, heavy swing, heft, martial tempo. You will drop laser rate somewhere in act 2. When you feel that damage goes off, you drop this thing, and you can put heavy swing, brutality, heft. I mean, you'll have in the League Start channel all the gems one by one. I will also make a written guide for League Start where I will explain all the gems. Sadly, we don't have access to the path of building, so I cannot provide a POB because they cannot update it because they don't have the skill tree. So no POB for all the builds, sadly. So will be a pain for everyone. And my boys, don't forget that I'll be streaming Warrior League Start progression over and over again until the patch launches 0.3. So if you want, you can check my VODs on Twitch and you will see the progression firsthand from 0 level 1 to end of the campaign. I'm doing on Twitch. Basically, when you get your totems, it's game over. So here I'm emulating 4 totems. I equipped an Uldum because in the next patch we'll have 4 totems in the campaign from the Ascendancy. So this is what to expect. You'll have 4 totems and this will be the gameplay. Yeah. Once you get 3-4 totems, it's easy, the campaign. The act 1 is the most problematic act. Yeah, so you need to pay attention how you play it. Maybe you want to do some testing. You know what's crazy? The hardest part when you create a warrior will be in the Red Veil. So here is the town at the start. Here it's a quest for the Red Veil. This will be the hardest. When you don't have shockwave totems, you will need to over level to level 5 or 6 because there are a lot of range monsters that apply poison and arrows, and it's a pain for a warrior. I mean, if you're a range class, it will be easy. So here you will encounter your first real boss. You need to pay attention with that boss. Maybe you get a two-handed mace. It will help you with the damage. This will be the hardest part for the warrior in the Red Veil with that Iron Rust robot. But if you over level 5 or 6, it will be easy. At level 6 we equip the Shockwave Totem, and then will be easier with the Shockwave Totem. Remember, before fighting act bosses, you want to change your weapon. You want a lot of physical damage and stats on the weapon because this is how we will scale damage in the next league. So you might want to drop by on stream on Twitch and see the VODs. You have here VODs with different progression. So I'm creating multiple warriors from level 1 until act 4, act 5, so you get an idea. But act 1 is the hardest, so you need to pay attention to what I'm doing in act 1. Even today I will stream and do it the same. So my boys, in conclusion, even though this build was really strong in patch 0.2 and 0.1, GGG did a lot of tweaks to the build and changes in patch notes 0.3. I explained them here. Totems are not dead, they are still viable. I will personally league start with this setup. If you want to follow it, keep in mind, you'll have on Discord server on this channel here. I will add for league start scenario what you need to do. Also, in case you don't want to join Discord, no problem. You have daily summaries on YouTube each day with my summary, how I'm progressing, how I'm doing. And on top of this, you'll have a written guide for league start progression. I will start working it after this video. So you'll also have a written guide. So you'll have on my YouTube channel, you'll have a written guide, and on top you'll have the Discord servers here. Also a dedicated support channels when you can ask questions and all that good stuff. So enough talking, my boys. Also you can jump on stream if you want and check the VODs, because I'm doing league start progression testing on the Twitch. You can see my commentary and how I'm doing. The hardest part will be Act 1, so remember that. Enjoy the rest of the day and see you in patch 0.3. Good luck!